the truth behind people who are successful, running businesses, and doing things that not a lot of people can do, and the raw deal of how it connects to their faith. This was a video posted by actually my buddy Bartholomew from Coffee Black, and I found it extremely helpful, and I wanted to react to this with you guys.
A lot of people probably look at me and they're like, oh, that's easy for you to say, you've built a multi-million-dollar brand. But I also want to just put this disclaimer out there, read the fine print. It comes with a whole new level of sacrifice. A lot of people don't discuss this, but the leader always eats last.
A lot of people don't discuss this, but the leader always eats last. I would say a good leader always eats last. Because there's definitely leaders out there that throw their team under the bus and take care of their people last.
Grant Cardone's on a private jet.
Yeah. Like,
allegedly.
Like if you fly in first class and the rest of your crew is on Spirit,
I've been there.
Wait, what?
I've had a client that I flew to Russia with, and this man was in first class and I was in economy, bro. Bro, and those were the smallest plane aisles I've ever been on in my entire life, because they try to squeeze as many people going in overseas. Yeah. And this man was in a bed. He's stretched out.
Wow.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah, man. So that leader will remain nameless, but a good leader eats last. A good leader makes sure everybody's taken care of and make sure everybody got what they need, and then will divvy up the profits, if you will. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I would say a good leader should be bringing in the team into some of the profits.
Recognize that, when you're off the hook for payroll of multiple people and you got $50,000 and $60,000 and $70,000 invoices happening all the time. I mean, they can tell you all the time.
Yeah.
I ain't got no $50,000, $60,000 invoices. Praise the
Praise
Lord.
the Lord. we tried very hard to make sure we don't run a low margin business.
Yeah. It sounds like, I'm not sure what this brother's business is, but it sounds like he's working with hard.
It's probably merchandise. He has Christian shirts on.
Yeah. So I'm guessing he's probably working with physical hard products that you have to get in the high numbers to get good margins on, and so you're sitting on inventory a lot.
Selling $15 shirts.
Selling $15 shirts that let's not assume he's selling $15 shirts, but this is
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Yeah, that and the margins are decent, but you just got to sell a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it sounds like his business model is different. But even when we get merch, like we'll get an order, nothing crazy, but we'll have a $1,000 invoice on embroidery, $2,000 invoices on blanks, another $1,000 invoice on shirts, and like that used to be hard to meet sometimes. Like you just get a $4,000 or $5,000, boom, you're hit with like, okay, I got to pay all of this now,
and we have to move it out later.
And that money trickles in.
Yeah,
that money doesn't come in right away.
Might take a couple weeks to a month to even break even on it.
Yep.
This come in a warehouse, it'd be 200 boxes and everybody's happy, and I walk in and I'm just like, my face is like, what the heck? And they're like, aren't you happy? We got all this inventory. And all I can think about in my head is like, I just spent like $200K and I'm gonna be eating a 4 for $4 tonight. That's
the 4 for $4s. I think that's the Chili's joint.
The 4 for $4, man. Listen, when you got expenses like that coming out, you definitely are not living at the optimal level of enjoyment and comfort.
Yeah. Because that's a high stress business. A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, even it sounds like his business is way higher stress, but even in what we're dealing with here with permits and city and stuff like that, and like I had to lay concrete in the backyard to move a tough shed that was on the property, and then we got to add a bunch of stuff to the studio. We got to get this permit. And we got we're dealing with a bunch of stuff.
Convert this while also bringing Chris on full time.
Yes,
and
we're trying to bring on another part-time guy. Like I'm not thinking, oh man, like we have payroll saved for 2 months for the first time. I'm thinking like, oh man, I can't touch anything. I got to be more restrained and I got to be more frugal so that we can get through how much these expenses are going to come out to be, because they stack up,
Yeah.
Joshua, shout out to Joshua. Joshua said Vista is hard to work with. I feel you, bro. You have no idea, man. Listen, I just had a conversation. I talked to somebody about who I thought had a persecution complex, and I was giving them a hard time, and I was like, you got to stop thinking everyone's out to get you. And then literally that same day is when all that stuff happened with the city.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and that literally feels like, oh, these folks are being mad petty.
It definitely does.
And I talked to them today. Hey, thank you so much for subscribing to our newest YouTube channel, Mastermind My Business, the channel where you get access to information on how to create, how to grow, and how to learn. But I wanted to show you something kind of crazy. Over 71% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing, turning that bell notification on so you don't miss anything. All right? I appreciate you. And so, yeah, when you have these sorts of businesses where stuff can go left or you just need cash on hand, no one gets this aspect of it, of the psychological weight, the pressure, and the lack of freedom. Like you got to crack payroll every month. That's not freedom just because you're generating. Like that's the lack of freedom because you got to stay restrained and disciplined and locked in so that you don't veer off course.
Okay, LeGray, we're edging into some contentment conversations here.
Hey, stop coming from my man.
My life is even less free. I buy his house.
Stop coming from my man.
Just
Stop
kidding.
coming from my man. I mean, listen, I'm blessed. We were able to buy a house in Southern California.
There is a level of financial freedom, but it comes with a little bit. It seems like it comes with a little more stress and a lot more like strategy and planning.
I told you earlier, I feel like this is IRS debt.
Yes.
I was like, bro, the city is making it feel because you can. What am I going to do? Say no to the city? Like I gotta play. I gotta play by their rules. I gotta deal with their drama. I gotta deal with their nonsense.
And that's not an expense you had on the line item for like, oh, the city's gonna cost me thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's the sacrifice that I make because I understand what I want the end result to be. And so I want people to get an understanding, like what Will said, we want to quote scriptures and do all of this, but read the fine print. Yes, the blessing of the Lord make rich and add no sorrow. Yes, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. But the fine print talks about stewardship. The fine print talks about accountability.
Come on.
The fine print talks about discipline.
Come on.
The fine print talks about selflessness.
Come on.
The fine print talks about patience and long suffering. We want to read the highlight reel,
Yes,
but we don't want to
Jalen.
read the fine print. And so I think what we have to understand in this culture is we have this culture of people who want to read what's in the bold, but nobody wants to go and read the small print. And the small print is what really makes the difference. And that's what separates the wheat from the tare.
Sheesh.
Wow. This man's cooking.
He's cooking, man. He's so right, though. He's so right. No one reads the fine print. No one thinks about. People think Solomon, God asks that you can have anything. What do you want? Solomon asked for wisdom, and he got all these riches. And then you miss all the stuff that Solomon got to deal with women coming to him, both saying that it's their baby, and he has to now think through of how to decide whose baby is it really, of all the access to excess that he gets to potentially indulge in the thousands of wives and concubines that he takes on, like all these things that he had to deal with. And so you just see the highlight reel. You don't know the other end of it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think that's a W take.
Yeah, that's a super
Read the
W
fine
take.
print. To whom much is given, much is required. You know what I mean? And he who is faithful with little will be given more. So that's heavy. That's heavy. Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.